Hi, and welcome to this lecture about working with variables. What are variables? Variables are the names that you create and instruct the computer to reserve memory locations to store values in. They are an essential part of the programming language, as variables are used to store values and used in calculations. Values are made of a variable name, a type, and a value. How to declare a variable? To declare a variable, you need to write the type, followed by space, followed by the variable name, and finally a semicolon. You can also declare a variable and assign a value to it in the same line by using equal sign, followed by the value, followed by a semicolon. There are some rules when naming variables. A variable name must start with either a letter or underscore. It cannot start with a number or other special characters. Also, it cannot be one of C# keywords like return, break, continue, etc. Naming conventions. You can name the variables as you like, but there are some common practices when it comes to naming variables known as naming conventions. It's always recommended to give meaningful names to the variables. Camel case is when the variable name is 2 words or more. The first word will be in all small letters, and the following words will begin with capital letters. Snake case. In snake case, you write all the words in small letters, but dividing them with an underscore. All caps or screaming snake case is when you write all the words in capital letter and divide them with underscores. This is common for constants. Pascal case or upper camel case when you write the words with first letters of each word in capital. This is common for function names and classes. Following naming conventions is a good practice, and it will make your code easier to read if another developer or even you looked at the code after some time. Bad practices such as naming variables with unmeaningful names or just letters like AA or A1 or ABC will make your code difficult to understand. Please avoid doing this, as it will waste your time, as you will have to keep reading a lot just to figure out what the variable is for. Expressions versus statements. An expression evaluates to a value, like int first variable equals to 5. A statement does something, like debug.log. This is a statement. Now let me introduce a dear old friend before we start writing code, and I believe you will be friends as well. The debug.log. Debug is a class of Unity engine that contains methods like log error, log warning, and many other types of messages that will help you debug your code. We will be using it a lot to display stuff in the console. The syntax is debug.log, round bracket, then what you need to output, then close the bracket, and semicolon. You can output a simple string, a variable value, or the result of arithmetic operations between any number of variables and many others. Now, let's go back to Unity and create our first C# script. Now, if you haven't saved the scene, we can save it. You will know that the scene has unsaved changes when it has an asterisk next to the scene name. So to save the scene, you need to click File, then Save. We will go ahead and create a new scene by clicking File, New Scene, then Basic. In this scene, we are going to create an empty game object. We will call it variables. Hit enter. And in the inspector, click Add Component. Then scroll down to New Script. Click it. Then it will allow you to write the name of the script. We will call it variables tutorial. Then hit enter. And click Create and Add. It will add the script to as a component, and it will also create it in the assets folder. You will see it here. It will have a .cs extension. All C# scripts have the .cs extension. You will see also a preview of the contents of the file. To edit it, you double click and it will open Microsoft Visual Studio. As you can see, it already came with some lines. These are standard Unity lines that code that it will add in every script that you create. The start function and the update function, both are empty, of course. So let's get rid of the update function, just from the last curly bracket up until this comment. Then we hit backspace, we'll delete. We will be testing our variables in the start function inside these two curly brackets. We will start by declaring an integer variable. So to declare it, we write int, then integer variable. This is just a name. I'm just giving a name to the variable. We can name it anything, like first variable, but I'm going to just stick with integer variable. Okay, and semicolon. Now we have declared our first variable. It still doesn't have a value. We are going to give it a value later. Now we will create other or declare other variables. Let's go with a string. Write a string. Then we will name it string variable. Then semicolon. And a boolean variable, boolean variable, semicolon. Then a float variable, semicolon, and a double variable, and semicolon. Now to assign a value to the variable, we need to write the variable name. You will assign to the integer variable, integer variable, then equal, then we will give it a value of 5, then semicolon to close the line. Now to test the value, we can write debug.log, then round bracket, then the name of the variable, integer variable, then after the round bracket we write a semicolon, then we save the script. You can save the script by hitting the save icon or file, save, or holding Control and S of the keyboard. It will save the script. Then we go back to Unity. You'll see that it's reloading. It will be compiling the script. Now, since it's already attached to a game object and the code we wrote is in the start function, so when we click play, it will be executed. Then we go to console. Then you will see there is a log. If it's not showing for you, you can enable the logs. Maybe it's disabled. Then it will show that there is a log message. It's 5. This is the value that we give to the variable. Now we click play to stop. Now we can try assigning a different value. Now for the same variable, integer variable, we can reassign another value like 10 and semicolon, and debug.log integer variable, then semicolon, and save. So what do you think will happen? We hit play. It will display two messages. One, the first value that we give. Second is the new value. Because the order is we give it a value of 5, then we output, then we give it a value of 10, then we output. If we took this one out and save, then we go back to Unity and hit play, you will see only one message, which is a 10. This is the latest value. Now we initially gave it a value of 5, then we changed the value, assigned a value of 10, then we asked to debug log to display the value. The last value it has is 10, so this is the value it will display. Now let's log the other variables, debug.log, and we will go with the string. Oh, we didn't actually assign any value. We only declared these variables. So string variable equals to, we will call this one, this is a string, and we close with semicolon, and boolean variable equals to, it will be either a true or false. We will give it a true value. Then the float variable, we will give it a value of 1.0f. For literals of float, you need to add, after the number, you need to add the f letter. What are literals? Literals are values that are within the code. Like integer variable equals to 5. 5 is a literal. If integer variable is equal to, for example, another variable, then it's not a literal. But when you write an actual number or a value, this is a literal. Like this is a string, is a literal of string. Okay. Now floats, after float, we will assign a value to the double string equals to, double variable equals to 1.55. Then we close with a semicolon, and we can click or mark the debug.log and copy it multiple times to change the names. We start with integer, then string variable, then float variable, then double variable, then boolean variable. Then we save and switch back to Unity and hit play. You will see first is the integer, then the string, then the float, then the double, then the boolean. These are the values that we have assigned to the variables. One more thing, what is the difference between a float and double? Float has 7 decimal digits of accuracy, while double has 15 decimal digits of accuracy. So it means we can test it out. We can test it actually, like float variable equals to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and double variable 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Then save, and we go back to Unity, clear, then hit play. As you can see, the float variable has displaying only 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and the decimal point, only 7, while the double has displayed all the digits. Okay, but usually we are most of the developers are using floats a lot of the time in Unity, because Unity does use it in a lot of its methods to save memory, of course. Okay, we'll go back to the code. Now we can also change, or for the string variables, you can add two strings together, like they will be connected together. String variable equals to string variable plus another text, then semicolon, and we will add the debug.log to after. I just don't need these here. We will delete them and save. Then go back to Unity. This is a string and another text. Now it's display. As you can see, this is a string, and then it added the space and another text. Now with variables, you can make arithmetic operations. Like we can declare another integer like int second integer equals to 10, then semicolon, and we will add them together. The first one was integer variable equals to integer variable plus second integer and semicolon. What will happen? It will add the first integer, the integer value, the 10, plus the second integer, which is the 10. So we save and we go back to Unity and hit play. We didn't debug it. Debug.log integer variable and semicolon. Save, go back to Unity. It will display 20. We will stop, and you can also all the arithmetic operations like multiplication, division, you can do. Okay. Also, you can change or assign a variable value to another variable value. meaning, for example, the integer variable can be equal to, we'll first change the value to so that we can notice the difference. The integer variable is now equal to 5. Second integer is equal to 10. So integer variable is equal to second integer. Okay. Now the first one was 5. The second one is 10. So it will assign the value that second integer has to the first integer variable. And we will make debug.log integer variable and semicolon and save. We'll go back to Unity. We can clear the messages and hit play. Now it's 10. The value of integer variable, which was initially 5, now became a 10 because we have assigned the value of second integer to the integer variable. Okay, so that's it for variables for now. In the next lecture, we will talk about operators. See you in the next lecture. Thank you.